Pivoting from have to work to get to work. And if you get to work on the schedule that you want, with the people you want, what would you do? What does that look like? How many hours would you work? What days would you work? Which people would you work with? What would you do? What would your actual role be? What would the greater impact be? And it doesn't even have to be for money.
Justin, going deeper into that, how do you define financial freedom? What is it for you?
The way that I teach it is that you have more money coming in passive income than your expenses in life, what it costs you to live. Mm-hmm. I think there's a few levels in there. So there's like survival income. So it's just enough to get by, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to work, but you're not living your current lifestyle. It's like you're paying all your bills. You're able to provide food, groceries, utilities, all that. And then from there, you go to, your current lifestyle. And then from there, you might go to like your ideal mm-hmm. lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Or you just continue to harvest surplus income, everything above and beyond what it costs you to live. And then what I like about those dollars is, on the money that you've worked so hard early on, it's like you're saving 5, 10, 15, 20, maybe up to 25% so that you can retire at some point or have mm-hmm. financial freedom or have some good investments. But with the surplus income, 100% of that can go to wealth creation, to impact. Yeah. And that's powerful. So I look at these different levels of financial freedom. So like from a technical standpoint, passive income exceeds lifestyle expenses. You're a lifestyle investor. You have passive, you're financially free. What does it really mean though? Well, it means that now you don't have to work. Mm-hmm. You get to work. You get to work on what inspires you, what fulfills you, being mm-hmm. around people that light you up, working a time frame that makes sense, mm-hmm. building boundaries that serve family and friends first and faith and whatever else is important to you first. Mm-hmm. Because it's amazing what happens when you have a schedule that you love. And by the way, I wouldn't say that I'm static ever. I mean, I've got a lot of boundaries around when I work and when I don't work. But mm-hmm. when I get into something, like I'm all in.
I wanted to ask you, like you really don't have to work. And unlike many people who in my audience who are not quite sure yet how to actually convert their exit wealth into financial freedom, you know exactly how to do it. So why do you keep working?
Well, for a while, I didn't. I mean, I did hit the pause button. In 2017, we traveled the globe. I mean, we mm-hmm. went on a year-long worldwide trip, 13 countries. Mm-hmm. Me, my wife, my daughter, we just had a blast. We brought our babysitter for part of it while we were in Italy for 3 weeks during mm-hmm. part of that stint. Mm-hmm. And it was incredible. But I was intentional. I am not going to work for a year. And that was really hard. Anastasia, I got 5 weeks in and I was getting shaky leg. Like I was kind of, getting amped up. And I just remember, having some wise people around me say, hey, one of the best things you can ever do, after an exit and just at different periods in life, mm-hmm. After working hard is like taking a sabbatical and taking true time off and not shortcutting it and not shrinking it because all of a sudden you got the itch. So after 5 weeks, I just kept pushing. And then the next mm-hmm. itch really came at about 5 months. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then really after that, it was kind of smooth sailing. I started realizing I wanted to teach this methodology. I wanted to teach mm-hmm. people how to buy their time back, how to not be, mm-hmm. Doing something that you don't love or owning a business that really owns you or, in a corporate gig where, you've put all this time in and you feel pot committed, but you hate what you do, right? It's mm-hmm. like, how do we help people buy their time back? How do we help people make smart investment decisions? Most entrepreneurs are horrible investors. And if you give them enough time, they will blow through all the money that they made in their exit. I mean, it's crazy, but it's two different skill sets. And so I wanted to teach people the way to do it where you can create cash flow and you can do it in a low risk way. And mm-hmm. So I built this brand called the Lifestyle Investor. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. It was a passion project through and through. I dumped some capital into it and I was like, well, I don't know exactly what to do. I just know I want to teach people. I had friends for years telling me I had to write a book and, teach people, coach people, just, that they wanted to learn the things that I've been doing for all these years. And I was like, after hearing it enough times, one of my buddies gave me a real hard time, and we were on a walk here in Austin, and we were going around Town Lake here. And he goes, "Hey man, I've been asking you for a decade to write a book, and you keep kind of like kicking the can down the road. So I got a tough question for you. What if you die and your daughter never learns all these great things that you have figured out about investing money and building relationships and creating and multiplying net worth?" Mm-hmm. And it was a real punch to the gut. And so the next day I started writing that book. Back then I didn't have a following. No one knew who I was. I didn't have an email list. I was not very present on social media. And so I had a friend say, "Hey, if you can sell 10,000 books in like the life of this book, right, then you have truly been successful, because only 5% of people who write a book ever sell 10,000 copies." So I said, that's my lifelong goal. I'm going to hit 10,000 copies. And I really was thinking I might have a few hundred people buy it and then just kind of add up over time. But when we launched it, by day 2, we had 10,000 people that had bought the book.
No way.
It went viral on social media.
Oh
it
my
became
God.
a #1 Wall Street Journal bestseller and USA Today bestseller. And really it had a mind of its own. And
I obviously knew about the bestseller thing, but you never mentioned how fast you got there. That's incredible.
Yeah, and part of me, I think, with this book, I donated all the proceeds to fight human trafficking from day one. So I was never going to touch a penny of it. I wanted it to be for something bigger and more important. And I really think that choice, like that was it. Like, because I don't benefit, I really think had I done it with me in mind, I actually don't think it would have the success that it's had today. And as of 2023, it's the top 1% of all books ever sold. So by volume, The Lifestyle Investor has sold more copies than 99% of the books that have ever been sold, which is so mind-boggling to me, because I could have never in a million years dreamed that. And the podcast followed suit, a top 1% of all podcasts based on monthly downloads. So
you must have felt it's a sign that you should go and you should teach people. I can see that.
100%. Like, this was just fuel to the fire. It was motivation. It was, I feel like I had some liftoff, and I started hosting these live events and building communities and all the stuff you and I have talked about, where I wanted to build this epic group of individuals that we just want to do life and business together, and we have each other's back, and we learn and grow together, and everyone's humble and everyone's kind. People are hungry to learn, eager to give of what they know and their expertise. And I just, you and I are part of a lot of groups, and there are amazing people in those groups, but there are also a lot of people that are misaligned in values and intentions. And it's like, you got to wade through all these different people to get to the ones where you're like, you, Anastasia, you are my people, right? Exactly. Like, I felt that immediately when we met. And so I was like, well, what if I just built a community that 100% of those people are that way? Like, there's no wading through to find people with the right same values and framework for life, that it's just like every person you meet, you're like, this person's amazing.